Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, hello, hello, hello. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Crew Podcast. Of course, I am the visionary, Queen Angela, and I want to welcome you guys back to the Crew Podcast. Um, Today, have another opportunity to share another amazing author with you guys that's a part of the 100 author movement. I tell you, I do not take it lightly. I do not take this movement lightly. Giving these individuals an opportunity to share their brands, to share the things that they are doing, to create and leave a legacy. Um, Everybody that follow me, everybody that support the platform know that I am all about legacy. I'm all about everybody leaving their blueprint, leaving something that individuals will be able to remember you by, because can't nobody tell your story like you tell it. So I always want you to be able to create and leave a legacy. So that's what we're doing over here on the Crew Podcast. So y'all, I want y'all to take this opportunity to share this with someone in your circle of influence, because I'm telling you, you never know what the next person may be in need of. You don't know what the next person, the nugget that may be dropped, that the next person may be able to take away, to take them into their next level, into their next new thing. So, y'all, I'm gonna move out the way, and I'm gonna let this amazing author, y'all. She is number 46 in the 100 author movement, y'all. We're moving right along. If you're not attached, I'm telling you, you have 54 opportunities to get attached to this movement before it's too late for 2025. Um, we're bringing up number 46. She's gonna come up. She's gonna tell you who she is. She's going to tell you her why and what she's doing. So I introduce to you guys Miss Gwen to come up to tell you who she is and what she's doing. So let me move on out the way, y'all. Let me move on out the way and allow her to come on in the building. So come on in. How you doing today?
Good
How are
morning,
you?
Angela. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy. Great, great, great. I'm so proud and happy to be a part of the crew and 100 authors to watch. I want to say that it's an amazing journey. I've been watching Angela for a while, and I'm so glad and so grateful to be a part of that journey. I'm so glad she gave me the opportunity to tell my story. I wrote two books. Two of my books are, one of them is on Amazon, and the other one is in the process of being published. My first book was about my brother Ray, who died in police custody. It's a strange story, but it all happened to tie into book number two, which has the infrasound magnetic waves that Obama called Havana syndrome when he went to Cuba. Now, going back to my first book, my brother died in police custody. I remember the story because on May 4th of this year, 2025, marks the 12th anniversary of his death. We made CNN, we were on MSNBC, we made Associated Press and all the local newspapers and local stories, news reports to talk about my brother because his story was so shocking. And what made his story so shocking is that he called 911 three times. They couldn't find his hotel. Now, in the hotel that he was staying in, he was working there on his job. His job had him there working. So he called 911 because he wasn't feeling well. He did a little drinking, a little cocaine, which is 0.001 ounces of cocaine in the system, which even the lawyers and the pathologist said that it's not enough more than a 4 ounce glass of wine. But they try to make it seem as that when he called 911, he needed mental evaluation. So they would take him to the hospital for a mental evaluation, and they asked him if he could be handcuffed. So not only did he call 911 three times, but they asked him if he could be handcuffed. So he was. He agreed to it. So he got paranoia because of the Havana Center frequency. He got to the hospital, and then he broke out of the car and he ran to the sliding glass doors. And when he ran to the sliding glass doors, they wouldn't open, and he fell back and he hit his head, and they started tasing him over 20 times. Now there's a beautiful video, which I call beautiful because it catches the evidence of what really happened to him on YouTube. And I tell people, if you really want to know what really happened to my brother, go onto YouTube and look up Linwood Lambert. His name is spelled Linwood Lambert, Lambert, and you can see different videos of me on there, with him on there, and definitely his video in Halifax, South Boston. But that's not only it. He also was a part of the Three Strikes You're Out with Clinton, which is in my chapter, Anthony Big Mace Mason, who I dated from the New York Knicks for about 2 years, and we dated. So my book is amazing. I think that if you get onto it, you'll know that it leads to everything from knowing about the assassination of President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama on January 21st of 2013 to the death of my brother in 2013 on May 4th, on how that we got caught into a matrix. But then writing my second book about the frequency, which I hear all the cricket sounds in my ears and everything the military people said that they hear, but I don't get any benefits from it because I'm not part of the military. But I lived in that area in Northern Virginia, so they have the magnetic frequency on me constantly. And my tongue gets stuck to the top of my mouth because the frequency is pulling to the top of my head. That's why my hair is short, because my hair falls out, so I have to cut my hair off. But thank God that He gave me curls, so I got natural curls. I have natural wavy hair, even though you can't see it because of how low it is. But I love it, and I get lots of compliments. So getting back to my brother's story, so he died at the hospital. And that's what made his story so shocking, is that he called 911 to be taken to the hospital, and they handcuffed him, then they shackled him while he was on the ground. Then on top of that, they lied and said that he was grabbing for their guns. He was grabbing for their taser. He was biting them. He was on the ground with taser prongs in his chest, shackled by his feet and by his hands. And then he finally said, okay, I had 0.001 of cocaine in my system. Then they say, oh, so you're going to jail. So when they picked him up, they jerked the prongs out of his chest, which you know can abuse your skin. Not only that, could send you into cardiac arrest because you're scared. So they put him in the back of the car, and from what the Commonwealth attorney, who was a special prosecutor on this case, we even had to get a special prosecutor on the case because we felt that we weren't going to get the justice that we need, and they took too long to give us the video. They took almost 2 years and 3 lawyers to get us the video of the hospital and the squad car. And I've been asking for 2 years for it. It wasn't until I hired lawyers who happened to be one of President Obama's best friends who got us our attorneys for my brother's case. And that's how I ended up on CNN. That's how I got this platform. This is how I got this movement to not only that, my book is called When Shall the Bow Break? So When Shall the Bow Break is about breaking the laws against police brutality, which I know there's a bigger picture, but I have to address what's in front of me because a lot of people don't know how the frequency works. So it's about when shall the bow break? It's breaking the laws against Black people, that like civil rights laws, as well as breaking police obsessive force, police brutality, workforce discrimination, housing discrimination. It's like, when is that bow going to break? The thought came into my head about the book. It's not about a nursery rhyme, but that's what the poem comes from, a nursery rhyme. That's what the title comes from, I mean. But the title is not just about, it's not about the nursery rhyme. It's about when are we finally going to get some relief from all of this racial prejudice, bias, killings, discrimination, racism. When? So my movement is to be a part of the crew as well as 100 Authors to Watch. Because when I write about the frequency in my second book, which is called Hidden in Plain Sight, Hidden in Plain Sight talks about how the frequency is on our communities, Martin Luther King boulevards, Malcolm X boulevards and streets, and certain ghettos and certain hoods, especially in Chicago, where you see mostly a lot of shootings and things like that that's going on. You can see a lot of the frequency being used there, especially in places like Baltimore and New York City and certain places down in the country. I know for a fact because I can see and tell who's being more affected by it, who's not being more affected by it. It's like someone said to me, "We don't have a leader." Well, I'm leading now with my books, Where Shall the Bow Break? I tell people to buy my book from me because it has more pictures in there, it has evidence in there, and the most peculiar thing about my second book about the frequency called Havana that Biden signed into law in 2021 that I can't benefit from because I wasn't in the military or in the embassy or in Cuba is that I can tell my story. I can tell my brother's story. And it leads all back to the country on how they use this to make it seem like they want to drive people crazy for their own purposes. But I'm so glad that, Angela, I'm so glad you gave me this platform.
Wow. You you just really don't understand that you really just touched on a lot of stuff that a lot of people probably have been questioning, have been wondering, and just didn't think nobody wanted to hear, or
Yeah.
that nobody even care, because that's what it seemed like sometimes. Um,
Yes.
but you touched on a lot of stuff. Wow, your story is amazing. I'm grateful for the opportunity to just allow you to be able to share. Um,
Thank
I can only imagine. We're in a month right now that they recognize national mental health. Um, and to hear that your brother called because um, he needed help. He wanted help, and he recognized that he wanted help and needed help,
Yeah.
and yet
Yeah.
they failed him. And that's the issue that a lot of us have as black and brown people, and just let the truth be told. And we see it every day, and it's becoming prevalent. Like you say, when will the bow break? When will it stop? When will enough be enough?
Yes.
You look at a lot of the police brutality, and even the closing down of the housing facilities, and then you look and you see what comes up in those areas, and how they are just taking different things out of the area and replacing it with different things, and you no longer see us there, but you see everybody but us in there. And I
Exactly.
see it. We're getting ready to head to Chicago in June. um a lot of the places that you mentioned are a lot of the places where a lot of us have lived for years, and then yet we've been ran off, and everything
Yes.
has been taken from us. We see it happening in Philadelphia, but a lot of them are standing up, and they're not taking it. They refuse to allow them to come in and take over their property and to take over their
Right.
space. But it's happening.
Exactly. It's
And
happening.
until we have more people like you know, a lot of people need to hear your book. They need to hear, see the videos that you have out. So how can they follow you to be able to reach out to you personally to get that book and to
Yes.
support your videos, your movement, and all of the things that you have going on? How can they support immediately right now?
Okay. What I can say to people that I do have a telephone number. I do do, I can't even say it. I do speaking engagements. Call me. My number is 804-687-0451. That's my cell number. You can call me basically anytime. I would say certain hours. It might be too late, but if it's an emergency or something like that and you need to get in contact with me, feel free to call me. You can also reach me on my email address. I have two, windshelterbowbreak@gmail.com. And my personal email address is gwendolyn.smalls035@gmail.com. And I want to say I do speaking engagements. I want to give a shout out really quick to Howard University because my first book was so good they wanted me to come out and speak during Black History Month to talk about police brutality to the kids. I didn't get a chance to because they're still working on the library and they're still working on, and I had a book in the library too. So I give out my books to all HBCUs so that the kids can read my book, and maybe one day somebody have me come out and speak so I can tell my brother's real story. But that's how you can reach me. And if you reach me, I can get you a book. You send me your cash, and I can you can cash app it to me, and I can mail you a book. I do that now. I mail people their books, and I'll be so grateful to share Ray's story. It's very shocking. I'm back on the scene now, and that's why I reached out to the crew and Angela and 100 authors to watch because I know my book is a story that needs to be told.
Definitely, definitely is because we see a lot of what you're talking about going on, and we see a lot of people not doing anything, just watching. And I tell people all the time, if you see something, do something about it. If you want
Yeah,
change, you have to be that change. We can't
yeah.
sit and want change and think change is gonna just fall out the sky, because nothing new is falling out the sky. Everything we need is in us. So we have to get those things out here and get these things in the hands of those that they need to be in. So I'm grateful that you are a part of the 100 Author movement. Um, so we are going to be
Can I say one more
having,
thing?
yes,
Two
you
things.
look, we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time left. It ain't time
Okay.
for us to win yet. We good. So go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. My name is Gwen Smalls. You can follow me on Facebook. It's GWEN Smalls, SMALLS, like Biggie Smalls. My Cash App number is dollar sign capital G Smalls with the number seven.
All right.
So if you want to reach out and get a book, I can order you a book and have it mailed to you within a few days. I've mailed books to Antonio, Texas, Georgia, Morehouse College. I've sent books all over the world, basically. And I've had a lot of orders on Amazon, but they're getting the limited edition. So if you want the full story, then I would suggest you send it to me and I can reach out to my printer and get it published and have it mailed to you and get your feedback. So feel free to call me. Feel free to drop me a line or something on my emails and let me know what you think about my brother's story. Or even on Facebook, you can go onto my messenger or you can reach me through on my page. Just leave me a message and let me know how you feel about our story because we had the FBI involved, we had the Justice Department involved, they even came to my house. I had the FBI come to my house. And you know the crazy thing about it? I didn't give them my address. I don't know how they got my address, but they found me. I guess because we made the news, so they do what they do. But they found me and they came to my house. And when the special prosecutors came to my house, they were appointed by President Obama too. I said, "Well, President Obama's whole family is trying to help me out with my brother's case." So he came. He was one who was going to be the head prosecutor in the case, but he told me he couldn't. And this is the irony of this. He said he couldn't prosecute my brother's case because of a 1945 law, I believe it was, of Mr. Bobby Johnson. I believe his last name is. But I call him Bobby because he was in Georgia. It could
Mm,
be 45. And he was trying to help people vote. So when he was trying to help people vote, he stole a tire. So one of the sheriffs, just like with Derwin, with I can't think of his name. I see his face. Who just died when he put his knee on his neck. And George Floyd, with George Floyd, they knew each other. So Bobby, when he got so pissed off because Bobby stole the tire, they chained him and dragged him around the Georgia courthouse and he eventually beat him with the Billy Club, and Bobby died. But because they didn't prove it was racism or civil rights being violated, there was no way that it had to be within a reasonable doubt. So that's how the reasonable doubt came into part, was through Bobby's law. It had to be within a reasonable doubt that you can prove that they tased my brother 20 times because of racism and not because of anything else. Well, I don't know what else because he was handcuffed and shackled, so he could not have done anything to defend himself. And he was laying on the ground, bleeding from the back of his head from hitting the side of the wall. So I don't know what that is. And then to die in the back of the squad car, sitting in the emergency room section of the hospital, which is shocking to me. I just wanted to add that.
wow. So, wow. Well, I'm just gonna let you know that Shanette is one of the hosts um over on the podcast, and she does a lot with social injustice. So you definitely may want to connect with her as well. Like you're just gonna have you have 45 other authors that is on a journey just like yourself trying to get their message out. So you have an opportunity to connect with them, to share ideas, and you have individuals that's in your area, because all of us are not in the same place. You have I'm here in Georgia. You have we have some in New York. We have Shanette who's out in California. You have some down in Texas. We have some out in South Carolina, um, Maryland. We have Virginia. Yeah, we have Virginia. We have a couple people from
Okay.
Virginia. We have a couple people from Virginia. We have the DMV area together, all that wrapped up together. We have Indiana. We
Yeah.
have well, we got we got the US sold up. We out here trying to make a difference. We're out here trying to get we all have a message. You know, we've all been given a message. We've all been given a task to do something. We've all been tasked to make a difference. You know, it's not by chance. You know, we sometimes question
That's so
why
sweet.
things happen to us, but it's not by chance that a lot of the things that happen to us. They we are catching up with our destiny, that thing that we are are supposed to do. You know, somebody got to go through it. So why not? Why not us? And through us
Yeah.
going through it, we're able to share with other people. So we may not understand it in going through it, but when we get through it, we're able to help other people that may need assistance like we
Yes.
did, because we got to understand that the Bible didn't write itself. That everybody that we read their story, they actually experienced that. They went through it. So how will people know what we experienced? Because we can't change the Bible, but He says that we would do greater works. And for people to know the greater works, we got to be able to share those things. We got to be able to put these things out so people won't know our story if we're sitting on our story and not telling them. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your willingness to want to be a part of the podcast, to want to be a part of the movement, and to be a voice. Because a lot of us, we experience things, and then sometimes we just think that, oh, it's just happening to me, nobody else is going through this, nobody else is experiencing this, when there are other people that are experiencing it too, and they need to know that, hey, they're not alone. And if you don't tell your story, nobody will know. Nobody would know what you're experiencing. Nobody would know what your brother experienced. Nobody would know, and they could be going through the same thing. And all those things that you are observing, all those things that that you have, that people need to know about. If you're not sharing
That's
it,
why I
who's going to
really
share it?
Right. That's why I've written hidden in plain sight because it's hidden. You won't know it. And so unless I tell people there is a frequency out here, they've been using on us for years, stealing our land, regentrifying our neighborhoods, dumbing down some of our kids in education, picking who they want to be in sports, like Michael Jordan, trying to keep us from having a leader. So we only have like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, trying to keep us limited in voting rights acts, trying to overturn all those laws that benefited us. And just they started with affirmative action. That should tell you right there that they've been working on something behind the scenes, using this frequency that they have on me to use other people as their vessel to do the devil's work. And that's why I wrote Hidden in Plain Sight, so people can know it's hidden. You can't see it. I can feel it because it was so on me so much that people noticed it. So they didn't make me too fat that people couldn't see that, but they have made me bigger though. I'm eating a lot and craving a lot because that is also a symptom too. It's a small symptom compared to changing voting rights and the civil rights laws, but it's still a symptom. So making me fat didn't stop me from talking because, as you can see and hear, it is compromised a little bit because I'm used to flowing and being happy. And people say, "Oh, you got such a glow." I was just told the other day, "You got your glow back. You're getting your glow back." I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm determined to finish my book and not let anyone shut me down. And I became homeless because of it. So I'm in a building because I'm in a shelter. Even though they find me housing and they pay for my rent every month, I'm still in a shelter because I wrote a book because I expressed my First Right Amendment, which I have that First Right Amendment to tell my story and to tell my people and brown people my story because I see and know what they've been doing to them. They did it to me since I was a little girl. But the pain didn't start till 2002 after 9/11. So I know that it's hidden because they don't want us to know. So you're right, Angela. Tell your story. Don't ever feel like, well, nobody wants to know if I was raped. Nobody wants to know about incest. Nobody wants to know if I did drugs. Nobody wants to know if I did alcohol. Yes, they do. Because I'm writing about all of that in my second book. Because that's what the frequency does. It destroys people's lives, it destroys people's families. And I'm writing about that to make sure that people know don't keep blaming people in your family for bad things that happen to them that they're blaming you for. No, the frequency did that. My sister just told me over the weekend when I was in Washington, D.C., that my dad thought our family was cursed. No, we're not cursed. We got the Kennedy curse, that frequency that seems to screw up our lives and try to blame us for it. And like I said, I believe there's a whole lot of people in jail shouldn't be in jail. That's my
It
personal
is.
opinion.
It is. I know a lot of them. I know a lot of them. I advocate. That's one of the things that I do. And Shanette, that's her thing. That's her show. That's what it's all about. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
That's all she talk about is social injustice. She has her co-host has been wrongfully incarcerated now 34, finna be 35 years. But he's getting ready to see the other side, and he's gonna be able to tell people, really what has been going on behind those prison walls and what these people are really doing and how they're just holding people and have no reason to hold them. You got people over there that should have been free 2 and 3 years ago, but they're still holding them so that they can get a piece of paper every morning. He just said, "Oh, we got to sign off on a piece of paper when we go sign in." Why? Because you got to sign in so that the people can get paid. Because if you don't sign in, if you don't got that signature, then they can't put that down on their thing, so they can't mark you present if you're not showing up, so they don't get their dollars. But then they got to fill their beds, and this is what's happening. This if you go back and you look at it and you really look at it, and this is what they've been trying to keep people um in the blind for years. The prison system was nothing
Yeah.
designed. It was not designed to really keep people in check and to keep people in line. It was designed to house runaway slaves. That's what the prison system was designed for then. But when they decided that they was going to let us go free, then they realized that they had to come up with a plan to utilize those facilities
Mm.
and to keep
Yes.
us in slavery. Like, it ain't nothing that they just
Yes.
thought of. It's something that if you just look back over history and just look back over your lives and just look back over your family's history, you'll see it. You'll see how it was designed from what they say freedom to now, which we're never free, because if you got anybody incarcerated and they're working, they don't get paid. And what they doing? They
Mm-hmm.
putting all our babies in prison. You look at the childhood, the juvenile, the,
Mm-hmm.
the, the amount of juvenile lifers we
Yes.
have. Those
Prison
that
pipeline.
are,
Yeah.
it,
Pipeline.
that's all they doing. They you
Mm-hmm.
look at even the housing situation. We talk about Section 8. We talk about public housing. We talk about all these different housing. Okay, okay, they did away with it, fine. But why did y'all start it in the beginning? Y'all started it in the beginning to separate the family, because the first thing they do is say, "Oh, no man can't stay there. If we gonna give you housing, can't no man stay there." How you gonna tell me my kid's father can't stay there? If we married, why my husband can't be here? You started this. So then you want
Right.
to blame it on the family. You want to blame it on our generation. No, it was not our fault. Kings, we love y'all. No, kings, society have failed y'all. They did that. They broke the homes up. They separated. They introduced welfare. They introduced WIC. They introduced all this stuff that they knew that we were going to be dependent on. They wanted us to be dependent on everything but the one that created us and the one that he gave us head of, that's supposed to be head of the house. The man's supposed to be head of the house. The man is supposed to be the one that is supposed to make sure that his family is taken care of, that his wife is okay. That's what the man is supposed to do. But when you take that away, and you putting them in prison, you giving these people life. which back then was about 20, 30 years. And then you locking them up. You know, gave them 20, 30 years. They in they elderly. They can't do nothing now. So now you've taken all of their life, and that's what they're doing. They're giving all our kids 40, 50, 60 years. They're giving them ridiculous time. They over sentencing our kids, and it's our kids.
Yeah.
You look at the ones we talking about babies. We talking about a lot of these adults that are just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. They've cursed them with that. They've given them that, and they pretty much said, okay, we're gonna give you this, and you go out there and you recruit people. That's what they doing. I mean, we can just look
Yeah.
at it and see what they're doing. They put these drugs. We look at what they did in the 80s. They put the drugs into our communities. They brought it right in because ain't none of us got no plane. Ain't none of us got no ships. Ain't none of us got no
No,
boats. Ain't none of us got
exactly.
none of the resources to go out here and do none of the stuff they're doing. We look at the prison system now. Nothing has changed. They just upgraded as we elevated, as we move forward. All they did was do the same. So now you go to prison. You may not be on drugs when you go to prison, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be on drugs when you leave there. If you make it out of there, because their goal is not for you to make it out of there. They don't want you to make it out of there. I hear these stories every day. You go and look at some of the videos that we have over on the Crew Podcast. You're looking at some of the interviews that I've interviewed these guys behind prison walls. You know, this is nothing like this whole podcast network. You can go and you can listen. What you just said today, it's just a tad bit of what has been happening over these last 3 years through this podcast.
Exactly,
And
exactly. We only know Angela. We could only know what they really been doing with this frequency for years and years and years. Like you said, even though they have
I
their token different color people in jail, the still main focus is us. Because if you look at anything, even from healthcare, if you look at healthcare, we're the ones who are predominantly with high blood pressure, diabetes, all those illnesses, strokes,
we
than
look at
anybody else. Same thing
everything.
that-
Everything. I
Everything.
mean, everything.
They
We even
need
talk. We go back and we even think about the AIDS epidemic and how did this really get out here. But then now you listen to these people talk about how they was putting stuff in water, how they was putting stuff in this and this and this and this and this and this. Like it make you wonder. Like it really make you wonder.
yeah,
Like a lot of the stuff that has really taken place in society,
yeah,
it would have you
yeah.
really wonder what we have been a part of, and you know
Right.
really what are we doing, how are we making a difference, and what are we going to do to make a difference, because you look at
Right.
all the
So
illnesses,
mhm.
you look at all the
It's almost
illnesses,
the
you look
same.
at all these people with these different illnesses and all these different diseases, like it's sickening. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to tell us one thing and they're doing another. It's like they don't tell the right, what is it? You don't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing. That's what they're doing. So while they're using the frequency to make us sick, they're busy making all these commercials and vaccines and medications and having us come out and test on it in public. So they give you all these medicines. So they give you pills to make you better, and then you have to give you pills to make you feel better from the pills they gave you that made you sick. I know
Like
someone that was taking 17 a day,
really,
17 black woman, 17.
do we really look at the commercials? Do we listen to the commercials? Because if we look at the commercials and listen to the commercials, we would hear all these different side effects. And I'm listening to this stuff, and I'm like, really, okay, if I'm listening to all of these side effects and I'm hearing all of this stuff that this could do to me, then why would I even want what it might be able to help me to be able to do if it could cause all of this stuff? Like I'm listening to everybody run and say they took this COVID, this vaccine, these boosters, and oh, they took the one, the two, the three, the different, all the okay. I took not one of them, not one of them.
Let me say this to you
I
though. That's good, but let me say this to you. My cousin Henrietta Lacks, Oprah played in the movie The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And I think you know that if you follow me on my page. That's my cousin. They took her DNA and they stole it while they was killing her at Johns Hopkins Hospital in 1951.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca Skloot wrote the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and Oprah bought the rights to the book and made the movie. I tell people look it up. It's Henrietta, Henrietta Lacks, Lacks, Immortal Life. Now they stole it, but they put it in monkeypox, HIV drugs, cancer drugs, all over like polio. I'm like, I was a little girl getting polio vaccine to go to school, and I didn't know they was putting a little piece of my DNA in it. A little piece. I tell people, it's a little tiny piece, but it makes sense because that's my family. That's my cousin. I would be a little piece. And they sent it to the moon in 1964. They tested it out on bombs. So they make these vaccines. They was even trying to make a vaccine for the astronauts in case they go out into space and get sick, that they can have a vaccine using her DNA. They don't want people to know that she's black. So that's why me and my cousin out on our stomping grounds. We made it a holiday in the state of Virginia every October 3rd, every October 4th, because that's the day that she died. So I want to invite everyone out to her black tie dinner party at Virginia Union University, which is a HBCU, which we're supporting because we're losing our HBCUs in our education system as they overturn the affirmative action. So I want to say that we are so. You were saying you can get the vaccine, and that's okay. I'm proud to be a part of all of that. That I'm a part of that vaccine through my DNA. But I understand how you feel because you don't know what else they're putting in it.
Yeah, because they put too much in there, and then you look at some of the different things that they are putting in there that they don't tell us. Like I like with all the medicine, if you got side effect for this, like you got people that's got different things. I listen to my friend and Cheryl. She's on here right now. Cheryl has she's had cancer. She has lupus, and then in having both of those, she has had to take all different types of medication. And one medication may lead to this, one medication may lead to this, and then you got different side effects and different things that counteract with different things. So I'm like, we just they really don't know what works. They really don't know. Everything is a practice. If we really look at their license, we really look at the things that hang on their walls. It tells you exactly what they have the right to do. They're practicing. They really don't know. So if they can practice, I can practice too. I can practice with natural things. I can practice with some of these things that I can read up on too. So that's the route that I choose. But I don't knock nobody for nothing that they do, and I ain't gonna say what it is because I don't want them to take the video down because they will do that. But I don't knock nobody
Yeah,
for taking care of what you need to take care of physically and taking care of you. But you
exactly.
know, we got to look for other routes and other ways in testing. We got to be willing to step out in the water and look at other things and look at other routes. So that's what we're doing over here.
Uh,
I believe in connecting. I believe in collaborating. I believe in creating and community building. So we are a community over here at the 100 Author Movement. We have people from all walks of life. You have some professors. We have some professors right here amongst us. We have one from the University of the Virgin Islands. Her name is Dr. Chen. She is a holistic doctor as well. She does a lot. She travels around the world because you may see her in South Carolina one day, and then she may be back over there in Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands or over in Dubai, or you may see her in Africa. But she is also one of the hosts over here on the network. She has a show called Ask Speaks. So she brings people on and they share. She's on the first and third Thursday of the month. Yeah, we have a variety of people that's a part of the 100 Author Movement. I can say most of the hosts here on the network, y'all, we authors. We believe in sharing our story. We believe in getting out there and getting that message out there and being a part of the change. One of our motto is being the change that we desire to see. We believe that change starts and ends with us. What will your legacy be? What would you leave? My Chris Paul, but who he Chris Paul ain't doing that for me. Shout out Chris Paul. Um, but what would my legacy be? He got his own legacy. He got kids. He has a wife. He has a family. So he's building his legacy. So what will Angela's legacy be? My nephew, but they all got a legacy. They twins, but They two separate entities, and they got to build their own legacy. One is building his. He's the first fire chief. Shout out to Quintarian. He's a new fire chief in Belton, South Carolina, in Greenville, South Carolina,
Oh, wow.
Greenwood, Greenville area. He is one of the youngest fire chiefs for that fire department, and he's the first black fire chief at that fire department. So shout out to my nephew, y'all. Yeah, that come from my blood. That came from my bloodline. And he is active in his community. He's out there, teaching these young babies about fire and about fire prevention, and let them know that yes, you can. My baby's only 27 years old, and he's doing it. He decided before he graduated high school that this is what he wanted to do. I remember when he came to my dad's house. And I remember him walking. He got on his feet, he put his shoes on, and he walked up the street to the fire department. And he went up, I don't know what he told them people, but he went up there and he came back. He had one of their walkie talkies and he had one of their neon shirts. And he put that shirt on and he said, I'm going back up there. And he come up there every weekend to my dad's house. And he did that. And y'all, my nephew's doing his thing now. Y'all can do it if y'all want to. But there's a will, there's a way. If you
Amen.
want to, you can. So get
Yeah,
out
I want to
here
say that.
and share your stories. Don't sit down on your stories, y'all. We all got gifts and talents. And he said that he will make room for you. He said he will put you in front of great men and women. So y'all get before great men and women. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Yes, I want to say thank you again. I do have to go. I have an appointment, but I want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity. It's just an amazing opportunity to get out and tell my brother's story and my story hidden in plain sight because people will not believe that we got the U.S. government doing crooked things that they've been doing since the Cold War to their own
Yeah.
American citizens. And yes, they want us to defend them in every war that they create. So I want to say thank you, Angela. Thank you to everyone who supported my podcast. Thank you to everyone who supported my books, my story. And I love you guys so very much.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I pray that you have a great day. And I want
Thank
to thank
you.
you guys for joining me on today. I pray that you guys were blessed by something that was shared on today. And if you would, know that she is a part of the 100 Author Movement. She's going to be joining us here on the podcast as well. So be looking forward to that. She's going to be taking up the Wednesday spot that we have on second and fourth Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So we look forward to being able to be a vessel to share. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure that y'all go over and follow. If you're not following us, y'all, please make sure that you are following us. We are on YouTube. We're on Twitch, y'all. We're on most platforms that you can hear a podcast. U42, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Y'all can even hear us on your Alexa. So it's really no excuse for not being able to get this amazing information and being able to take yourselves to the next level. So I encourage you guys to go over, follow us, and check out some of these amazing authors that's a part of this movement. Again, I am the visionary of this platform. I am affectionately known as the queen of collaboration across these platforms, y'all. Y'all can find me anywhere. All you got to do is Google Queen of Collaboration Angela Thomas Smith, and I promise you, I'll pop up somewhere. It may be some stuff you may not want to see, but hey, it's me. I don't hide nothing. I don't keep nothing from the public. I am who I am. But every day I strive to be the best version of myself that I can be. I only want you to know that you didn't get dropped out the sky, that you got a purpose, y'all. I love y'all, and I pray that your day is blessed. Y'all have a great one.